What is going on, YouTube? It is Primitive here, and today I'm going to be bringing you another match from the most recent RMC local. Today we are going to be having a double mirror match, and what I mean by that is we're going to be having Agumon versus Agumon, as well as Joey versus Joey. So this will be a very interesting match, as this is a matchup that I tested a bunch myself going into Nationals. And to be honest, I never really found a clear path to gain an advantage in this matchup. It really felt like whichever player had the better security and the better draws, being able to get into their promo Greymons early, be able to swing in with things like Lightning Joust, as we see one hit out of security right there. Those are all going to be very influential. If you have a lot weaker security, you just have a bunch of Agumons in there and you don't have things like Atomic Blaster or Geo Greymon, you could fall very far behind. Like we're going to see now, we have the Agumon player on the right who did hit the Lightning Joust and the promo Greymon, as I said, which should give a lot of advantage going in, except for top check is going to be Bond of Bravery, which is a bit unfortunate. Was potentially going to be able to get two more swings in there, but going to have to just hit the Bond on the first check. So going to go and swing in, get the other Bond player down to 3 security checks, which is fine because you want to try and be getting as much damage as possible on your opponent, so that way whenever you do go into a Bond, you could potentially go ahead, trash the top security, get security attack +1, swing those 2 checks, and then maybe go in with another rookie, or go in with something like an Agumon. But getting into it, the Atomic Blaster did clear off the board, so now we're just going to see the other player build back up, went to 4, so was able to play down the Marcus and the Agumon Expert. So now next turn going to be able to go to 3 no matter what, and going to be able to promote, be able to gain 1, draw 1 with ties. So looking like having the advantage on the left here, just because they have generally more resources with the Tamers. The tie is going to help a lot too, being able to gain 1 and draw 1 each turn. But the Geo Greymon does come out, pop the Agumon Expert, which does get 1 body off the board. Now if you do swing with the Agumon, you will be at equal checks, but hopefully you go into a Greymon. But we're actually going to see a Digivolve into the Agumon, but you do get the boost, luckily. Not going to get the draw off the Koromon, but still get to survive in the check instead of just swinging an Agumon in there. Now, the Geo Greymon can swing into the Agumon to trade if you want to. That may potentially put you a little bit behind, because then you're playing defensively while your opponent's playing aggressively. And the aggression coming from the left side of the board is going to be a little bit more than the defense coming from the right side of the board, especially with the Tamers out. You're really going far ahead, and now we're just going to see a Gaia Force come out. So really starting to see some desperation coming out from the Agumon player on the right, trying to clear some things off the board. Still no Tamers, nothing really going for it as far as resource engines. No EX1 Agumon, no Tamer Searcher Agumons, just kind of chilling, hoping to potentially top deck into something, or maybe get some good security checks. Having a Geo Greymon come out of security could be very helpful, but as of right now, looking definitely in trouble, because now you have 3 security checks. Your opponent's going to be able to promote next turn, be able to go to 4, draw an extra card, and then you can either go into Bond, or you could just swing the 3 checks in. Assuming you don't get hit by Atomic Blaster or Geo Greymon, then something like an Agumon would be able to go in for game there. But assuming that there is, since it is Agumon, there's most likely going to be some sort of security trigger in those last 3 that could delete one of the Digimon, whether it's Atomic Blaster, Gaia Force, or the Geo Greymon. So probably not the highest chance that that happens, but it is a game plan that you could go for if you do have the Agumon in hand. I do see the promo Greymon on the left side in the hand, so you could Digivolve into that, be able to swing a couple checks. We are going to see that Digivolved into, going to be able to swing 2 checks, hit Lightning Joust on the first check, so 2 Lightning Joust in the security so far this game. But we're going to see the 2 Marcus tap to gain 2 memory, which means that we can now go into the Bond of Bravery, swing, trashing the top security by deleting the Agumon, and then we'll just swing in directly right there with the Agumon for game. So like I said, the player on the left definitely seemed to snowball there. On the right, we weren't really getting anything going on. Didn't see a single Tamer. Had to Gaia Force, a rookie, just to slow down aggression. And then on the left, we were chilling with multiple Tamers. The tie early did have some weird Digivolves going on top of a Agumon, as well as a Geo Greymon, and only 1 promo Greymon, but still worked out. We're going to see a Lightning Joust come out on turn 1. Going to be able to swing for 2 checks at 7, I believe. Going to be able to survive, but does hit a tie for the opponent. So now they're going to be able to have 2 ties, going to be able to promote next turn, gain 2, draw 2. So now the resources are coming huge on the opponent's end. Going to be able to go into the Greymon now, can swing in for 2 checks as well, to even up the security checks. Does survive because of the DP boost, but hitting a tie for the opponent as well. So now there are Tamers on both sides, going to have at least some resources going in on both ends. No Marcus on either end, which isn't that big of a deal, because being able to get the gain 1, draw 1 from the ties is going to be very influential, because like I said earlier, I find it very hard to find in advantage in the mirror match, but having the ties is going to be a pretty big one, because then you can at least start to cycle through your cards and potentially hit the things that you need a little bit better. Gonna see the BT6 Agu come out and play the tie for 2. So now 3 ties on the right with a BT6 Agu on board and in raising, with only 1 tie on the left going into Geogray, so not even hitting the promo, unfortunately. So not going to be able to get extra checks, but going to be able to search with the EX1 Gabu, hitting the Bond of Bravery again. So multiple Bond of Braveries have been hit in the security so far, going actually with the Analog Boy. So that's a very interesting card to be included in the deck for potentially if you're going up early into Bond, you could get that extra value. But it looks like just potential search here. Haven't really seen the Analog Boy used too much in this list, but now we're gonna be able to gain 3, draw 3 with the ties. Gonna be able to swing 2 checks at, I believe, 6. That 1k DP boost is coming in clutch right there, because they did hit a 5k on the top, but was able to survive thanks to the Demi-Meramon. So going into game 3, tying it up, we are going to see the player on the right go first. Of course, wanting to go second in most matchups is going to be correct. Going to hatch the Koromon. Lots of Koromons coming in these Agumon decks over the Demi-Meramons, which I've seen not just in this match, but in general, which has been very interesting to me. The Koromons are nice, but getting that 1 extra K from the Demi-Meramon has been more advantageous in my opinion. But as of right now, we're going to see a Delicate Plan come out and going to be able to swing 2 checks. Marcus coming out, not going to be stopped by the Delicate Plan. So the Marcus coming out is mostly irrelevant at the moment, because you already have the Marcus out, so the you weren't going to memory choke them anyway, and unless you go into a Greymon and start getting those extra memory gains, it probably won't be too impactful. So going to trade, going to tap to gain the 2 memory, so can get a little bit advantage here, but you need to see something like a tie coming out. A Geo Greymon could also be pretty decent here to at least get rid of the Agumon on board, but just going to go ahead and Digivolve into a Greymon. That's a little risky because you are going to go to 3 anyway, so your opponent playing an Atomic Blaster isn't that big of a downside, and actually going to play the tie to go to 0 and then play the Atomic Blaster. Not even worrying about putting your opponent at 3 memory, just wanting to get the tie on board, so that way next turn you can get the promote, gain 1, draw 1, and then be able to just clear off the board. But putting your opponent to 5 did give them the resources to be able to double tie with the BT6 Agu in the back, so going to be able to get some decent value gain, as well as be able to present a lot of aggression next turn. Going to be able to swing in, but does hit the Gaia Force right away, so that Greymon is going to go down. Another tie coming out, so lots of ties. Just drew into another tie, but the thing is when you're only at 1 security like we see on the left, you are a little bit scared, because next turn your opponent's going to promote, or going to hatch and then be able to Digivolve, and then the following turn they'll be able to promote, and in doing so they could threaten to go for game with an Agumon, and so you kind of have to try and slow down right now. You are going to be swinging, be able to tie up 1-to-1 security, but like I said, if your opponent's able to clear your board and then able to hatch and promote next turn, you could be in a lot of trouble. So we're going to have to see what they decide to go for here. I'm assuming we're going to see something like an Atomic Blaster, or potentially a Gaia Force go on top of this Greymon. You could also go into the Agumon and trade in if you want to. Going to trade into the Agumon instead of trading into the Greymon, which is interesting, but still getting something off the board. The security attack +1 at this point doesn't really matter, because you're going to be able to only have 1 check anyway. And then the Atomic Blaster coming out, so clearing the board. So now this is where the player on the left could be in trouble, because next turn they're going to be able to promote, going to be able to swing, and then potentially go into a Agumon, and they just end up passing. So if there's an Agumon in hand, we just saw one come out to make it so that you survived on board, but if there is one coming out, then it could be game. Gonna Digivolve into the Geo Greymon. I'm assuming that means that it was not hit, so we're gonna go ahead and swing. Magnedramon's gonna take it out, and then just pass turns, so 2 turns in a row, pass turns, gain 3, draw 3. I'd be very surprised if they weren't able to go in for game right here. Tai gonna come out. Is there an Agumon? Are we just missing Agumons on both ends? Gonna go for the Analog Boy to search, and gonna grab the Magnadramon, so that looks like that's gonna be the game plan that we're going for. If no Aguni, then you could just play the Magnadramon, put your opponent to, what, 7, recover 2, and now the game is pretty much locked up, because they're not gonna be able to clear off this Agumon and this Magnadramon without something like a Gaia Force to come out. And then if you don't, then you have nothing on board, or you have no security. 1 Digimon on board, or just a top deck Aguni is going to seal the game. So looking like we're thinking here, is there anything that's going to come out? Going to play the Tamer Searcher Agu. I don't think that's going to search anything that can help you here. Gonna go into Bond, that can attack, and then that's the scoop right there. Nothing coming out. Trying to find an Agumon or something those last couple turns to be able to seal it up, but the player on the left is going to be able to take it. Very close match, able to go all the way to game 3, and like I said, it did feel very close. There were a couple turns, those last couple turns, where they were just passing back and forth to potentially find somebody to be able to go in for game. The Digimon coming off the Analog Boy to be able to seal it up, make it so that the opponent didn't have the aggression to come out. And with that being said, that is going to be this match. So if you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, because I'm going to be bringing you even more EX1 content, deck profiles, and all that, especially going into BT7 here soon. If you want to go ahead and get some more Digimon content, I will be streaming on Twitch pretty frequently, so go ahead and follow my Twitch link in description, and I hope to catch you live. But with that being said, I hope you have a great day, and peace out.